Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. I hope everyone had a fantastic 4th of July. I can tell you what, my hair's looking really good right now. There might have been something in the firework dust that led to a nice sheen on my hair, but that's neither here nor there. We've got Madi Prewett today on our Bachelor news. Former Bachelor contestant Madi Prewett is selling a Christian dating app. Madi Prewett advises single Christians to try dating app, details being the wife that God's called me to be. What we're going to do here is I'm going to play the clip that Madi has where she said, Grant is not God, Grant is her husband. He's going to fail me and he's going to let me down. Hey, that's actually pretty, sage advice to tell people, like, look, your husband, your spouse, your partner, they're gonna let you down. They're not God. I don't care what they tell you in the bedroom. They ain't doing it for you. But we'll listen to what she says. I'm gonna give it my fair response. I know everyone thinks, oh, Dave makes a video about Madi. Dave hates Madi. No, I don't. Not at all. But every time she sells something that is faith-based or relies on the faith of others, we gently roll our eyes. Because we know Jesus was flipping tables when he saw that people were, making money off of religion. Right? Right? Am I wrong? Are we doing charity work here? Or are we just making a lot of money? Either way, hit the like button and make me some money. We're going to get into it right now. All right, here's what she said. Let's go to the beginning here and have a listen. It's a good one.
To just know all of my needs and desires.
No relationship is perfect. No marriage is perfect. Obviously, people fight, disagreements. What have you learned about communication? How do you and Grant
How hard is it to communicate with a billionaire's son?
handle a disagreement? What is your tips on that? Because sometimes it happens quick and sometimes it
She's like, I'm mad. He's like, I bought you a new a planet.
takes a minute. But
Yeah. Sarah, he would love to be here for this interview to answer that question for you, because I'm sure he'd have a lot to say. We have learned a lot. I do think, there is a big adjustment when, you've never been married, you've never lived with someone before. There's so much new. And so, we moved in after we got married into our home and you're having home problems and you're having, just life things.
Yeah, who gets to use the bathroom when it's time to go? There's only 7 different bathrooms. I wanted the master bathroom. Well, it's got to be tough. It's like, which credit card do we charge the new wallpaper to?
Going on, and you're now learning how to respond to those things and handle those things with another person. And I think that's something that's so interesting about relationships, is that a lot of it is not even like about you. There's so much that goes on around you and that happens to you that you don't even have control over. And you're learning how to respond and how to handle it with grace. And so that was a big adjustment for us at the beginning. I would say the first couple of months, we were definitely trying to find our bearings and figure out, how to just respond well to things. You're learning a lot about that person. Oh, this is how you like to spend your mornings. This is what you like to eat at night. And, you expect more time together. You expect to.
Is this something you should be learning once you get married? Now, look, again, some people want to save themselves for marriage or whatever. Some people don't want to live together before marriage. I feel like in today's world, and I could be wrong, you could let me. No, Dave, you're completely wrong. But I feel like in today's world, don't you want to do a trial run first? Don't you want to not find out your partner likes to eat Cheetos at midnight in bed and the whole pillow looks like an orange? You know what I mean? Don't you want to know that?
Be with friends more. And so you're just learning a lot of those things. But I agree with what you said about how important communication is. I think that's something I've seen is just the power of communicating, hey, I think for me, for example, I was very, when we first got married, I think I expected him to just know all of my needs and desires. And so that was very unfair to him.
When we first got married 9 months ago, no, I completely agree with Madi here that communication's key, and not assuming the other person knows what's going on in your head is key. So good on them for learning that. That's a big step in a marriage.
And so I finally had to get to a point where I was like, okay, hey, when I come home from a 3 or 4 day trip, I would love to have the whole evening with just you. I want us to eat a meal together. I want us to ask intentional questions together and just enjoy an evening. And I had to really learn to communicate that, because that wasn't something he just could understand on his own. So we've learned definitely through just the importance of communication, through trial and error, like the moments where we've done just such a bad job of it and the moments we've crushed it. And I think just having grace for each other and patience for each other is so important. And that was something that, again, I had to learn very early on is, hey, like, don't take life so seriously. Like he's not God, so he's going to fail me and he's going to let me down, and I'm not going to meet his every need all the time, and he's not going to meet my every need all the time. And that's why my hope is not in him. And I think that's really.
And this is just another, like, I agree with her on the have grace for your partner, but this is where it just sounds like we're regurgitating scripture and we don't even know what we're saying. She said her hope is not in him. Maddie, what the hell do you mean? Now, before you leave a long comment and dissertation, please comment. But it's like, I understand what she's saying is her hopes in God and faith and all this, but at the same time, like, what are these her words, or is this just are we parroting, what we've been told?
Really, really important as a believer is to make sure that you're seeking that relationship with God. And if you're trying to find, all of your hope, all of your worth, all of your value, all of your purpose, everything in a person and in a relationship with another human, it's going to continue to let you down. And so for me, it's been so important in the mornings. Like, I wake up, I go have my time with God, and I have a prayer closet, and I get in my prayer closet and I pray. And I just spend time, reading the Bible and just like filling myself up and reminding myself of what's most important. And then from that place, I'm able to really be the wife that God's called me to be, and to really love him well and to meet his needs. And I think we've both seen the importance of that, especially when conflict arises. You kind of mentioned that, but especially when conflict arises, like if I have not spent time with the Lord and if I have not reminded myself of what's most important, that's where a really not so pretty side of Maddie can come out, and I can just be really selfish and just have such unfair expectations. And so that's why it's really important for me to kind of get my heart right in the mornings and to just align myself with the Lord and kind of love from that place.
Even the Lord's like, can you quit using my name? No, but listen, I get a lot of comments. Oh, Dave, you hate Maddie, you hate Christians, this and that. I agree with but with most of the things she's saying here. I think I look more inwardly, like spiritually, as like we're all connected as a through line, like through our hearts and souls, not some like greater being in the clouds, just because that greater being in the clouds has been used in a lot in the past to manipulate us into wars and agendas. Think this way, think that way. You're with us, you're against us. Like that whole issue, I have an issue with. And she's not really using that here. She's using God as a through line to say, hey, have faith in the greater thing. And I believe in all of that. I just think that it is times, she's not doing it, but it is times when pastors and people will look down on you and say, God says don't do this. God says being gay is a sin. God says this and all that. It's like, God never said that. God never said any of that. You're using this mythical man to tell others what to do. God wouldn't appreciate that at all. The God that actually is about pure unconditional love, the loving frequency which binds us all together, would never tell you something to be fear-based. You're going to hell if you don't do X, Y, and Z. God, that's not it, folks. If ever in life, whether it's God or a salesman, if anyone ever tries to sell you something based on fear, you look at them, you turn 180 degrees, and you run in the other direction, because that is someone trying to play on your basic needs. We see it done with cable news. It's people trying to scare you into following them or buying their thing or whatever. So she's got a partnership here with Upward Christian Dating. It's very interesting. She didn't even mention it in this part of the interview, but here she is. It says that she this is what happens, right? Maddie agrees to do an interview with Us Weekly whenever it's time to sell something. It's not like, oh, let's check in on Us Weekly and see what they've got going on today. No, how can this benefit me? Well, she's working and promoting her partnership with Upward Christian Dating, and we already heard every clip in this article here, so now we just have to go Google Upward Dating. Here it is on the app. They've got different, tips for Christian dating. It seems like your standard kind of niche dating website here. Pros, ideal for Christians seeking a serious relationship and commitment. Straightforward sign-up process. User-friendly interface. Now, the thing is, Maddie did the old school dating app, which was go on The Bachelor, right? And she did that to, and improved her platform and ability to share her message. But now she's working for a app that she never used. It's kind of like how we showed Blake Lively the other day on Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast. We covered Blake Lively and how she received a lot of flack for promoting a liquor brand, her liquor brand, even though she doesn't drink. So can Madi promote a Christian dating website when she met a guy in person, billionaire's son? I guess, I mean, you can do whatever the hell you want, really. Here's what a few people said about the Christian dating site Upward Christian.
All of these things, like all these likes, and I can't see them. So I got really paranoid, and I'm like, I have to buy it. I just have to do it. I just have to bite the bullet and do it.
So they encourage you to buy the premium membership, which is fair. That's how apps are. You know, they get you in, and then you want to see a super match? You got to pay more. That's okay.
So there's like 2 tiers. You can sign up for like just the basic package, or you can sign up for the elite.
I call the basic package the Madi package. I'm kidding. Come on.
Of course they want you to sign up for the elite. So like a dummy, they tell you exactly like what you're getting in the basic package. And it's not much. I tell you that. It's not much. It's not even as, it's like, it might as well have been free. You might as well just stayed there. So it was like $14.99. So it was like $15 for the month. And so I did that, thinking that I was going to be able to see my matches, right? No, wrong. I read the information wrong.
Listen, God doesn't like a basic membership level. God likes an elite membership level.
I got too quick and excited, and it was like I literally had zero access to anything that I really wanted to do on Upwards. And I was super pissed because I just charged my card for $15.
Hey, listen, God ain't cheap. You can't just expect $15 a month to get you a match. God says give him more money and you'll get a better Christian.
And I can't do jack with it. So I'm like, now I'm going to have to upgrade to the elite package for $30.
Oh.
So now I spent $15 on top of that.
Ladies, here's some old-fashioned dating advice from your boy Dave. Take that $30, put it in your pocket, and go walk to your local bar and just stand there by yourself. Stand there by yourself and wait for a guy to hit on you. And if you don't like him, say thank you so much, no thank you, I'm waiting for some friends, whatever, and then wait for the next guy. And over and over and over. And eventually you might catch your Prince Charming. Maybe he's an elite Christian, but he ain't on this dating app.
30. Maybe. I'm so pissed.
So in order to get the perks you want, you have to spend $30 a month. And I could play the whole 18-minute clip here. And again, am I selectively choosing someone whose title was "Don't Use Upward Christian New Dating App"? Maybe. But the problem the problem that we see in the Christian community, and trust me, guys, I see this, is that a lot of mediocrity gets sold to people because they're trying to support a Christian faith. I mean, how many people out there have bought a Christian music because someone was selling it and you felt guilty for not doing it or something? We have Sister Maryland here, not a nun, but her YouTube Sister Maryland. She explains how she felt bad swiping left on men because they were Christian. So she felt guilty using the app because it's very much, of course, attraction based.
It's not really a judgment against apps or people that use apps. It's like I feel uncomfortable because I know that I'm going to swipe left on people that I'm going to
Listen, they're going to swipe left on you, honey. It's just the nature of the game. Even God's swiping left on some people.
Swipe left on people that are probably awesome. People that I might get along with amazingly, but for whatever reason, I'm going to pass on them, and that bothers me a lot. The thought of like the thought of them being like at my fingertip.
Listen, I understand the guilt she feels. She goes, it bothers me that I'm not attracted to them, but I'm I'm not swiping right on them. I'm still not. Listen, it's the same way. Attraction is something that you can't really control. You either are attracted to somebody or you aren't. That's just how it is. So anyway, Madi's promoting her new book. It comes out this fall. My encouragement to her when it comes to the Christian bikini line, Christian bathing suit line, the new book, the Christian dating app, it's just like, look, again, and I'll say this: I always give credit where it's due for people that are good at business. She's good at business. She's good at the capitalism of Christianity. There's no other way to put it. She's absolutely dominating. She goes out there, puts on some press-on eyelashes, and sells the shit out of God. But my question is, that I always ask is this what God's asking for? I don't know. Leave a comment. We'll have to talk about it later. I'll be live. I'll be on the Bachelor Rush Hour podcast this afternoon. We'll share this story and more. Bye, guys.